Akila City, the western fantasy in Starfield. I rewatch the Starfield direct footage at least like 5 times a week when I'm making videos, and my eyes have been drawn to Akila City recently, and I honestly think I've found some things that you probably missed about this western themed city, so let's go over Akila's hidden details and secrets. In this first shot of the outskirts of Akila City, our eyes are of course immediately drawn to this Vasco-like robot working on the farms outside of Akila City's walls. But let's take a closer look. He appears to have some kind of basket on his back, possibly where he puts fruits or vegetables or whatever it is they're growing outside of Akila City's walls and the farms. I honestly hope that if this is the case, we actually see the robots do this, because that would be a pretty cool animation. But moving on to this next shot, we can see 3 of these weird tower things, which at first I assumed were some kind of water towers, because it doesn't look like Akila City is home to much water, until I noticed these satellite dishes on top. Now down at the bottom we can see 2 things which are kind of hard to make out. Again, at first I assumed that these were some kind of carts, but now I'm wondering if they're actually some sort of robot workers, like some robot buggies or something like that. Now in this beautiful shot of the city we can see a number of details of course, such as this store here called Shepherd's, which is actually a general store. These signs down here pointing to the Spaceport Co Plaza, named after Solomon Co, the man who founded Akila City, and yes, he is related to Sam Co, one of our companions and romance options. And we can also see Midtown and the Court written here, whatever that is. I really want this dude's jacket, and off in the distance we can see a statue of Solomon Co, which we get a much better look at later, which I of course will point out. Roland Arms, which we can assume is a weapons vendor that we can of course buy and sell weapons and ammo to and from, and down on the compass we can see the map marker of Akila City. Now over here I'm not sure what this is, but we can see some kind of market with some greenery up top, which seems to be a rarity in Akila City. Oh, I'm also wondering if this man down here is homeless, since he is sitting on the ground here and his hands are giving out a sort of begging gesture, if you will. In this next shot, there sadly isn't all that much to point out besides a couple of small things. This Terra Brew sign down here. Terra Brew is a coffee store in New Atlantis, so it appears that this is a common business in Starfield. We may even see one in Neon and Sidonia too, who knows. Also down here we can see another terminal kiosk, which I pointed out in my New Atlantis deep dive. These are actually in every single city, including Sidonia. It appears that they'll give us information on said city, maybe hints for quests, locations of stores, and maybe even some NPCs and the history of the city and things like that. I do believe that we can also sell junk at these kiosks too, but we can also see here that Akila is in the Cheyenne system. Here we get a better shot at one of these kiosks, and we can see that they are called info kiosks. Again, I have pointed this out on the channel before, but still, this is right outside of the Stone Root Inn, as we can see its sign up here. And zooming in, we can see that there is this little underground area, or at least stairs that lead to an underground area, I should say, next to 3 signs that read East Gate, the Core, again, and I think that the last one says the Stretch, but I'm honestly not sure. Now actually, if we go inside of the Stone Root Inn, we can see a guy who appears to be wearing some kind of a lab coat, which is kind of odd, but this does show Bethesda's classic, you know, giving every NPC a schedule. So maybe this dude works in a hospital area in Akila City and comes down to the inn to drink after a long day of hard work or something like that. We can also see the coachman's shotgun hanging up here, and in the next shot we can see a Crimson Fleet member in Akila City's prison, which is awesome. Now this somewhat of course could confirm a prison system, which I know that I'm really hoping for, and I know a lot of you are too. We of course can see a woman wearing the same jacket that I really want, so these jackets do appear to be quite common, which is awesome, because it means I can kill a nobody NPC and steal it off their dead body, hopefully. Yay! In the next scene, we can see the 3-star Rangers headquarters, and it looks like this might be the entrance and where you sign up to join the 3-star Rangers. So here we get a massive shot of Akila City, really just showing you how big every city in Starfield will be. We can see this strange wall here with no shot written on it. I'm actually quite curious to find out what this is about, but besides that we unfortunately don't see too much besides these little spotlights, a balcony over here, this giant walkway on top of Akila's city walls, which we can of course assume is for defense, possibly another robot buggy thing down here in the background, a couple of NPCs hanging out at the bottom here, and what's possibly a solar panel up here. Again, sadly not much besides a bunch of small minor details. So here we can actually see the starport of Akila City, which looks kind of awesome. We can see what looks like a store down here. I'm not going to try and read this sign because I know for a fact I'm going to misread it and then everyone's going to shout at me and bully me in my comment section. We can also see a few watchtowers attached to Akila City's giant walls, which makes sense as we do know Akila City has these giant walls due to the outside threats of the creatures that are, quote, a cross between a wolf and a velociraptor. Here we can see who I believe is the leader of the 3-Star Collective. We can see a couple of dialogue options, a diplomat option reading I've got the experience with these kind of situations, and the others that read, quote, there are lives at stake, let me help you, possibly indicating that this dude doesn't like us very much for whatever reason. A somewhat rude option that reads, quote, it's clear that you're not getting the job done, so just let me try. And a somewhat nicer option of, quote, will you at least hear me out? Now in these next 3 very quick shots where we're blowing stuff up, we can see that these are in Akila, not in the city it seems, but rather on the planet of Akila, of course. Not much to point out here besides the fact that this is where we are, showing that there will be things to do and fights and exploration on this planet besides just visiting the city. Though in this cool shot of Sam Coe, we can see a welcome to Akila City sign right here, so I'm assuming that this is a grounded shot of the spaceport area. Also, Bethesda, please fix Sam's beard before the game releases. Like, look, Starfield looks absolutely amazing, but what the fuck is this? I mean, come on. Come on. Now here's a better shot of the Solomon Coast statue. We can see some lights and candles and flowers down here, so it appears that he's really respected at the very least, and maybe even missed in Akila City. Also, judging from this statue, he wore a pretty badass jacket. And we're here in this gorgeous nighttime shot of Akila City, we can see a much better shot of the hitching post bar, which is why I didn't point it out earlier. I really love the look of this area, this nice outside bar vibe. I don't know, it just seems like a really nice place to relax and have a drink. But sadly, there isn't really much else to see from Akila City in the Starfield Direct footage, so let me know in the comments if I missed anything that you found. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. Please do drop the video a like for me if you haven't already, it really helps out more than you can imagine. And hey look, Starfield releases in just 52 days today. So if you want to see Starfield lore videos, character builds, NPC studies, and many more hidden secrets and details once the game releases, along with some minor tutorials of basically everything Starfield, consider subscribing because I'm going to have you covered from day one of launch. Lastly, as always, a massive thank you to the channel members. Your support means the world, so thank you so much for being here month after month. But with all of that said and done, I thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.